This is the Moho interface. Exactly what we have here is what we have in the Moho software. Okay, so I just highlighted certain things here that I'm going to explain, and then we'll practically go through all of them. So we have the menu bar, we have the tools bar, we have the frame bar, we have timeline, we have style panel, layer panel, and viewports. For some of us, we've already started using Moho, but I can tell you for free that you don't really know some of the names of these panels. Like some of you, it's today that you are discovering that this part of your screen, right, is your viewports. If you are familiar with 3D animation, you know what viewports are. Okay, and then if you've used the Moho interface, let's not just talk as though we are doing a theoretical class here. It's a practical class here. Okay, so all of these parts is called what? It's called what? All of these parts, these white parts, and when you have an animation, it's called what? I need to make sure that you are with me. Please, you need to respond. It's called what? It's called what? The viewport, right? Okay, I don't know why I'm struggling to hear you guys. The All of a sudden your sound went very low. Okay, anyways, let's proceed. So this is called your viewport. So if you can't speak out, you can just type here on Zoom or even on TikTok. Let's make sure that let's see if people are viewing there while we continue. Okay, we have some people that joined in. All right, but I'm sure that they are definitely seeing the screen. All right, so we are just going to proceed. We'll be coming back to check if there's anybody here, like after 10 minutes or so. Okay, so this is our viewport, and you see these blue parts. Whatever is not inside this frame cannot show in your exported animation. Whatever is not in this blue frame cannot show in what? Your exported animation. This is your camera, but everything here in this workspace, this white part, is called what? Is your viewport. This is where you do your animation, your vector creation, importation of images, different kinds of layers and all of that. You do all your animation, particles and everything in here. So this is called your viewport. In case somebody asks you, what's this part called? Don't just say this is where we animate. It's called the viewport. Then this frame here, this blue frame here, is called, this is the camera frame. And whatever is not inside of this frame, when you export your animation, is not going to show at the end. Like all these other things here, if I do Ctrl J, which is just to highlight my viewport, do you see that every other thing here did not show? So if I'm to animate, and if I'm to render my animation, which is turning my animation from this raw animation format into a watchable or playable and shareable animation format, right? Whatever is not inside of that frame, that blue frame that we saw here, this frame is not going to show. These other parts, they are not going to show. Okay, so these are viewports, and then this is our camera. Then we said we have our menu bar. We have file, edit, draw, bone, animation, script, view, window, and help. So I'll talk about each of them. All right, I might not be able to explain every single sub menu there, right? But I'll just highlight the major ones. So we have the new. So if let's say this is you were working on an animation file, and then you want to create a new file to maybe do a character design or to make a new animation, you just click here and click on what? New. So it takes you to a blank viewport and workspace. Everything here is called what? Your workspace. This is your workspace, and this is your what? This is your viewport. Everything here is what? Your workspace, but this is your what? Your viewport. Okay, so now we clicked on new. It took us to what? A new workspace. Then we have new workspace too. Right here you can remove some parts, remove some things, and put some things. Okay, your workspace is just made up of your tools, your timeline, your style, layers, and all of that. Okay, so let's move on to the next. We have new from templates. You can just click new from template, then you see this is a template. All right, that has already been made. A template is something that has basically been made and stored on the software. We have night sky, simple title. So this is just a template that came with the Moho software. Okay, but we are not interested in this. We don't really use the both of these that much. Then open. Let's say you've done an animation before and you want to open it. Let's say you did an animation last week and then you want to open it. You can just click on open here and then you go to the file where you saved it. Let me try to see if I can open one of the animations I did a couple of years ago. Okay, let's go here. This animation I did like 2 years ago on this computer. Okay, like 2 years ago. Now this year as I clicked open, it took me to the file and then I can play this animation. Remember I said whatever is not in this frame is not going to show, right? So at the end of the day, this is what we have. Whatever is not inside of this frame is not going to show. So this is an animation that has been done, character design, the rigging and all of that. I'll be talking about the rigging. Do you see all of these bones? This is what we use to make our animation, to make our characters walk, right? Make expressions and all of that. That's what we use in animating. Okay, so let's go back to the next. We have open recent. So these are some of the recent files I've worked on. These are some of the recent files I've worked on. If I want to open any of them, I'll just click. It will take me to the file. Right, this is an animation I did, I think, last week. We are trying to make this our character, this robot character. I've forgotten his name now. I've forgotten his name, but why can't I remember his name? I was trying to do a jump animation with him. Okay, so if open recent just takes you back to some of the recent animations that you've done or character designs you've done. Then if I click on close, like we already know what that's going to do, it's going to close the file that we are on. Then we have close all. Let's say you have 10 animation workspaces opened. If I click on close all, it's going to close all of them. Do we see that? One by one is going to close all of them. It's closing them one by one. Okay, it's going to close them one by one. Sometimes it might ask you to save some files. Maybe you've done an animation that you've not saved, it will ask you to save it. So we see that every workspace here has been closed and we can click on new to open a new workspace. Alright, so that's the under file. Then we have gather media. Gather what? Gather media. I'm going to use something to do an example. Let's click on this further file from recent. Okay, so this is what gather media does. If I click on gather media, right, it said after gathering to a new document, would you prefer to switch to the new document? Yes. Now for gather media, it gathers your, for example, you have audio, images and vectors, right, in a particular Moho file. When you gather media, it carries all the vectors, all the images, all the sounds that are in that particular Moho file. It converts them into a folder that has all of these audio, images and vectors, right, and the Moho file saved orderly in a folder with subfolders. Okay, so I'm just going to click on what? Yes. Right now, then it's going to say I should save. So I'll come on that document here and click yeah, I'll just save it as father. It says father already exists, do you want to replace it? I'll say yes. Then I'll go back now to show you what that did. Before we just saved it as a Moho file, as a single file, but right now if we go to document and click on Damiete, let me see, was the file name Damiete for? Yes. Do you know? So this, it was saved as what? Father. This was what we had before, father.moho. This is just a Moho file. If I transfer this Moho file to you, and let's say we usually I worked with images there, right? If I don't gather media and I send you just this father.moho, guess what? Guess what will happen? Moho will be telling you that there are missing files there, that those images, oh, you can't see my document. Alright, sorry, let me share my entire screen. So right now we have before we have just father.moho, but right now we have father as a file, as a document, right, as a folder rather. Then we have father.moho, we have bill of materials. Then if we had images, let me import images here now and gather media. I will just import one image here. Let's include this. Let's put this image here. I've imported it. Okay, I'm going to show you how to import later on. And then I do gather media. Alright, then I save this as father.moho and click on yes. Let's go back and see the difference. Before, remember we had just father.moho and bill of material. We had just father.moho and bill of material inside that father folder, isn't it? But right now we have images. So if I click on image, you see that this image now is here. So if I want to share this particular file with you, I would need to send this entire folder, not just the Moho file. Because if I send you just the Moho file, this image is going to be missing. So that's the importance of gathering media. So there are times we work with clients and the clients are like, send me what's it called? Send me my character source, my project source files. So the source files is basically everything we have in here. The Moho file, bill of material, the images, and if there are audio files in there, all of them forms what? The source files. That's everything you use in the project. That is why gathering media is super important. When you are working on projects, gather medias so that Moho don't start asking you that there are images or there are stuff that are missing. Okay, so we've talked about what gather media. Let's go back to check on the people from the other platform to see if there's any question or any comment. Okay, somebody said hello, good morning. Oh, someone is asking, is this toon? This is cartoons. I don't know what you mean by toon. This is animation. This cartoons, yeah. I think I need somebody from my office to be responding to you guys. So let me contact somebody to join the live and respond to you guys. Please give me a minute. Let me contact somebody to join the live and respond to you guys. Now, the reason why I cannot really respond to some of you on TikTok, why I cannot really respond to most of you on TikTok, right, is the fact that the class I'm doing right now that I'm even streaming is a paid class. Okay, so I really need to attend majorly to the people on Zoom, not just the people on TikTok. Today I'm just doing it free for you guys here on TikTok. So yeah, the software is Moho Pro. The software is Moho Pro. Just join us so that I don't really interrupt the class. So we've talked about gather media, okay. Then we have export as previous version. We had older versions of Moho. I don't really use this. I'm not sure I've ever even used this before. I'm not sure it's that needed. Then we have remove comments and tags. Sometimes when you're animating, you can include comments. Then we have what we call project settings. So just like the way people that use CapCut, let me see if these guys have any question for me that want to come to the studio. Is a class within the office. So today's class is strictly online. So from next week, when we start doing character designs and all of that, that's when. Yeah, so I also need to address this now. And I think that going forward, my classes might be strictly online. Because let's be sincere with ourselves. Whatever I'm going to teach you when you are here physically is the exact same thing I'm going to teach you online. Except for people that stay at CHS and they want to ask me questions and want me to show them things, right? That's when your physical presence is needed. Most of what I'm learning today, I'm learning them online and I'm doing well with it. Some people feel like if the class is not physical, that means they're not really going to learn much. That's not true. It's all about you and the dedication you give. You can stay in Lagos and learn animation. Everybody feel like they need to come to Port Harcourt to learn. No, except you really want to be mentored personally by me. That's when you need to come around. So going forward, my next classes, they are going to be strictly online, and exactly what I'm teaching to the people in the physical class is exactly what I'm going to teach, so that you don't spend much money on transportation and all of that. But if you need to ask me specific questions, want me to show you specific things in person, right, I can show that to you. Okay, so yeah, go on. Someone wanted to ask a question. Your audio is not clear. May you kindly send a message like on Zoom. So here we have project settings. There are times where people ask me, okay sir, how do I make my animation video in portrait and in landscape? So landscape usually 1920 x 1080p, right, which are pixels. Okay, so this is the proportion for landscape. If I want to make this video, remember here now is in landscape, isn't it? This has the width is wider, the height is shorter. Okay, if I want to make it portrait, which we use on TikTok and Instagram, okay, all I have to do is to change these parameters. I'm going to make this 1080 1920 please, if you are asked, if you just kindly, what's it called, mute so that you don't interfere with the class. If you want to ask a question, send a message, please. So if I change this to 1080 1920, before we had 1920 1080, right? But now I'm doing the inverse. Do you see that these are turned to portraits? Hello, can we say that this is now a portrait video, isn't it? So I can also tweak it under project settings and then save it as 1080 1080. I think they use 1080 1080 for what platform? I think X, which is Twitter, right? I can change it to any dimension that I want. Do we see this? This is like a square, same dimension here, same dimension here. Okay, so there are clients that sometimes they say, okay, can you deliver my video both in landscape and in portraits? So we use project settings to fix that. All right, so let's move on to the next. We have what we call imports, right? Importation. So what does it mean to import? What it means to import is just to bring in an object, either image or trace image or audio into your animation software, okay, into the Moho software. So if I click on here, I can just go to import. So they are showing me certain things that I can import. I can import Moho objects, I can import Moho styles, image sequence, SVG files, movie tracing image, video file, OBJ. Like these are like some 3D models, and then I can import some things from the Moho library. These are stuff that Moho added to the software that you can just import. Okay, so here now, these Moho objects can be, let's say I have a character already, and then I want to import another character. Let's say I want to import this character I did, right? Do you see what they are showing me? There's a missing file because I did not gather media for that particular file, right? But I can still bring in this. Do you see this? I did this like some years ago, like 2-3 years ago, so don't mind me. This was when I was starting in animation. I was doing trial and error. Imagine how I designed this character. I designed it like this, then at frame 1 I then made the hand to be normal. Okay, I think someone has a question for us. Okay, all right. So do you see how I imported this guy using what? Imports. So this guy already had bones and all of that. I'll show you guys how to do all of this. I can even see a lot of mistakes in this. This was some 2 years ago and I've not touched it, but I can still fix it in here. And one thing about animation I love telling my students is this: for you to be good at what you do in animation, you have to practice a lot though. Practice like crazy. Some of us are too scared of making mistakes, so we don't dare to practice. Try hands on so much. Like back then I was designing my characters in front view. Right now I design my characters in 3/4 view. This character was designed 2-3 years ago, right? But I still have it. It's one of my most appealing character, right? I did it for fun, not for any project. Okay, so then let's move on to the next. We've talked about imports. So I said you can import images or audio files, Moho objects, and all of that. So let's move on to the next. We have show in Explorer. I think this is where you want to know where you saved your file. You just click on show in Explorer to show you the exact folder where you saved your file. So let's pity the people on TikTok and check if they have any question or any comment for us. Sorry that I'm using the word pity. I'm not supposed to pity you guys. What's the name of the software you are using, please? Moho is the name of the software. Most times people are just interested in the software. Knowing the name of the software won't automatically make an animator. You need to learn the skill of animation, okay? So Sammy, please, I asked to join here so that you can be answering their questions. Well, I'm not sure you are doing that. Please be answering their questions. So this is Moho. Moho is the software we are using. Okay, if you also want to join the animation class, do well to reach out to me or just ask any question up here. Sam is going to respond to you guys. Okay, let's move on to the next. So when you use that, you use show in Explorer to know where you exactly saved your file. Okay, So we are still on file. Remember, we have edit, draw, and all of that, but we need to go through all of this so that you understand the fundamentals, the basics, so you're not frustrated while using the software. Okay. So we have refresh media. I think it just refreshes your media. Then we have preview, Control R. So let's say you are designing a character. I do this most of the time. If this is a character that I design, I want to send to a client, I'll just do Control R, then save it as a PNG. PNG means that it has transparent background, isn't it? But this yellow part is still going to be there, but this other part is going to be transparent. Then JPG definitely has a background. Then we have BMP, I've never used it before. Tagger, I've never used it before. TIFF, I've never used before. WebP, I've never used before. Okay, but JPEG and PNG is what I use for my preview. Let's say you are my student and I ask you to design a character and send to me. So you are going to do Control R and then save it as either PNG or JPEG and send to me. Alright, so that's what we use preview for. There are times when you are animating or designing, it might not show clearly in the animation software, so you do Control R. And when you convert it to PNG or JPEG, that's where you can share it to me to view or to your friends to view. If you send your Moho file to your friends that are not animators, they will not be able to access it because they don't have the animation software. But if you want to show your character you've designed that you love to a friend or a client or wherever, you convert it into a shareable format, which is either PNG or JPEG as image. Okay, then we'll move on to the next. We have preview no anti-aliasing. I've never used this before. I think it's still the same thing, but then this one does not have good quality compared to the first. All right, so I'm just going to end this part. So then we have export animation. Remember that I already have an animation here, right? It's a looped animation. Let me delete this other guy, and then it's a looped animation. This is the animation here. All the movement of all these things you see here is what controls the movement of this guy, right? Let's say I'm done. This is a project. I'm done with it, and I want to share it with you guys, which I'm going to do today. I'm going to share it on the group. I'm going to share it on our group. This is an animation I did a while ago, right? Some years ago. Not just something I did in class today. So I'm just going to do. There are two ways I can render this guy, either Control B or Control E. So here, let's use Control B. Okay, let me just save the file. Let me save it and then do Control B. The name is what? Father. I'm going to what's it called? Click on play, and it's going to start rendering. Then we have another way to render, which I will do Control E. So Control E too is another way that you can render here too. So I'm just still going to click. Now the difference is that for this, as it's rendering each frame, is going to be showing you the progress. This other one is just showing percentage. Let me bring it. Where is it? Oh, where are you? Okay, so we see that this one is showing percentage. It's not showing any preview. But this other guy is showing preview. Do you see that it's rendering frame by frame, and you are seeing the movement here? But this one is not showing you any preview. Okay, it's just showing you the percentage that has already been rendered. So here we see that we've rendered 11% already, but this one, see how far it has gone. So I do prefer the Control B on though, because somehow I feel like it's faster, though I've not tried it out. So while this is rendering, let's attend to the people on the other platform. So once it's rendering, I'll show you what the final product is like. So this whole free TikTok thing is going to end soon. So he said WebP is best for websites. As a developer, we use WebP mostly for website image. It is lighter. Okay, thank you so much for that information. I have a clothing brand. Can I work with you? Yes, of course. We can make animations for you. We make animations for brands globally, perfume brands, clothing brands, brands in different industries. Okay, over the past few years, we worked with over 700 individuals and brands globally, right? Making animation videos for them. What is the software name, please? Okay, the software's name is Moho Pro. I think Sammy has already answered you. So I'm answering your questions while we are waiting for the rendering to be over. So please stop animation spacebar. It seems like this person has a bit of an understanding about animation. Yeah, okay. So does anybody have? So just Frank Clinton, you can send us a message. You can send us. Sammy, do well to reach out to him. I don't know if they will allow me put my, especially for those that want to learn animation. I'm going to put something up here. I don't know if TikTok will allow. If you want to learn animation or you want to work with me, just text me here. So let's go back to check our progress. Let's go back. Because I'm rendering on multiple platforms, it seems like my laptop is lagging. I say rendering, I'm streaming, I'm recording, streaming and all of that. So you said you prefer Control B for rendering, but you've not used it. No, I've used Control B and Control E. I've used Control E and Control what's it called? That's not what I said. You got me wrong. I've used Control B and I've used Control E. In fact, I even use it in your presence right now. I prefer Control B because I feel like it's faster. I might be wrong, but I feel like it's faster. Okay. So Control E shows you the preview as it's rendering frame by frame, while Control B just shows you the percentage that has rendered. Control E shows you the frame that are being rendered, right, frame by frame as it's rendering, while Control B just shows you the percentage, while Control E shows you preview. Okay, so let me, I don't know, I think I can pin this. Yeah, I have. High computer load detected. I think rendering and all of that is making the computer to. The reason why I could not use my other computer to stream is that one, the screen is too wide. So many of you, most times my students complain whenever I use that particular setup. So that's why I'm using just a laptop, and this laptop is not even up to 50% as fast as the other one. So I'm using this to make sure that everybody sees what's on my screen, and then there's nothing that is out of frame. So let's continue. Let me go back to check. So this one has gotten to 49%. Let's see where the other one has gotten to. So this one has gotten to like 40 something percent. The way it's going is because it has not gotten to half already. So I'm also going to use the opportunity to also speak to some of you here that want to learn animation, because most times in Nigeria, when people want to learn stuff, they ask, okay, how can I monetize this skill? And then this is also to my students too. But I usually say this: when you are learning any skill, money should not be at the forefront. Yes, when you are learning, you should also learn a skill that you make money from. But don't just learn because you want to make money. You need to love the process of learning. If not, you will just learn halfway and you want to start making money, which can limit you. There are people that learned a bit of animation, they just went into just start making money, and then they did not prioritize evolving and then knowing more about animation. And because of that, they could not go far in animation. They limited themselves because they were just chasing after money instead of developing themselves so that they can be able to have more earning power. So you can earn as an animator by working for people. You can be an employee of a brand and you are the animator. You can be a freelancer as an animator. You can also be a content creator as an animator and make money from YouTube and still collaborate with brands, creating animations for them. I do virtually all of them. I make animations for brands. I teach animation, right? I create animation for my YouTube channel, and I create content about animation. So there are different ways by which you can make. You can just decide I don't want to work for anybody. You want to create your own animations and post online and make money from it. Voila, that's an awesome way to make money. But then make sure that you learn a lot about animation. And paying to learn animation is not a scam. So I'll be doing, for those of us that feel like, because the price that I charge for my animation class is 150,000 naira for this year. Next year is going to be 250,000 naira. But I'll be doing something too. I'll be doing a basic animation class that I would host on my website, and that's going to be around 50,000 naira. Basics. basics of animation, right? With that, you be a basic animator, and then if you want to learn more about animation, you can, sign up for the main animation class. But I'm also going to have an advanced and a pro animation class too that I'm going to host on my website. I just have to record them. Recording tutorial videos is very, 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 very uh it's very hard, frankly speaking. Else I would have done it a long time ago. It's very hard, but I will still do it. So I'm saying all of this while I'm buying time, because we have a few more minutes before this stuff is done rendering. We are at 97% here, and we're almost done here. The truth is that for the both of them, the result is going to be exactly the same. But let's see which one finishes before the other. Though we didn't start both at the same time, but almost the same time. People on Zoom, do you have any questions? And people on TikTok, do you have any question?
No, for now, no question.
No question from you, okay? But we are following, right?
Yes, sir, you're following.
All right. So the person on TikTok that said has a bit of knowledge about animation. How good are you with animation? You have like a Japanese or a Korean name. It's surprising that there are people here on TikTok that are joining, like following. I started this for like 20 minutes. When I started, nobody joined in. All of a sudden, I've already gotten 12 followers from this live already. Though I promoted this stuff. Like, I paid TikTok to promote it, because TikTok does not like to do something for free. So let's see which one has finished. And then let me also tell you the difference. You see this particular one, once it's done rendering, the video will start playing automatically. But the other one, you need to be the one to go and look for the video where it's saved, and then you what's it called? You play it. But this one, once it's done rendering, it's going to display. It's going to start playing automatically. Somebody asked what's the requirements for laptop to do 2D animation. So basically, you just need a. I don't like to give generic. What's it called? I don't like to give the lowest grade, right? But if you have a Core i7, I do recommend a Core i7 laptop, because if you use a Core i5 and 4 gig, I guess what, your laptop, when you start animating or you want to render, it's going to lag a lot. So this guy is already done. Let's check the other. I think okay, the other one has finished already. So let's see what the final animation came out as. Okay, so I think people on TikTok can't see my screen at this point in time. They can't. People on TikTok can't. But anyways, that's what you get when you're watching from TikTok. But for people on Zoom, you saw the final video, right?
Yes, I'm sorry.
So that's just how we converted this. Okay, so did you see the final video? I saw somebody, Lord Ozai, said he saw the final video. Oh wow. Okay, so let's proceed. Guess what, guys? We are still talking about files under menu. Why we have a lot to cover. So we've seen export, right? Open custom folder. We're going to do this another day. So under edit, we have undo, Ctrl Z. We already know that. Redo, Ctrl Shift Z. Let's say you mistakenly deleted something. You can either do Ctrl Z or Ctrl Shift Z. So cut, just like if you know how to use Microsoft Word, you already know how Ctrl X is to cut, Ctrl C is to copy. I can copy keyframes, copy points, copy lines, and all of that. Okay, so these are for these ones: Ctrl A, Ctrl C, Ctrl X, Ctrl what's it called, C, Ctrl V, which is to paste, Ctrl Shift V, paste relative, clear, then copy layer. You cannot copy a layer by doing Ctrl C, like you just select it and do Ctrl C and Ctrl V. It's not going to work. Hello, are we together? You can copy keyframes with Ctrl C, Ctrl V.
Yes, sir.
Right? You can copy objects, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. Right? I've duplicated it. Do you see that? Right? But if you want to copy a layer, let's say I want to duplicate this layer, I would have to click on copy layer, then go back and do what? Control Shift Q is what? Paste layer. Hello? Watch, here we have just one file with the name customer, right? But if I do Shift Q, guess what? We have two now, right? It still looks like it's one. Hold on. Okay, I know why that's doing like that. So let's bring it out. Let's bring it out of the max. So that's a max. So do we see that we have two of this now? If I see do Shift Q, I've created another one again. Do you see that? But if I do Ctrl C, Ctrl V for this, it's not going to work. I can copy and I can do Ctrl C and Ctrl V for bones. For bones, vectors, right? And what's it called? And keyframes. But if I want to duplicate a layer, I will do, what's the shortcut? Learn the shortcuts. Ctrl alternate C. Ctrl alternate what? C. To copy a layer. Then Shift Q to do what? To paste a layer. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Are we together? Then we have normalize layer scale. The truth is that some of these things I've not used some of them. And me, one thing about me is I love being sincere with my students. I'm not going to tell you something that I've not used. Then we have reset layer scale, select all.
Sir, sorry, what do you say to copy a layer?
To copy a layer is Ctrl alternate C. Ctrl alternate C. To copy a layer, Ctrl alternate C. Alright, then to paste the layer, Shift Q. Are we together? Shift Q. So we have select all. This like to select all keyframes here. Okay. So we have select none, select inverse, select connected, edit keyboard. You can also edit your keyboard shortcut. And then on preferences, I can go to appearance or color. Let's go to appearance, and then I can change what my Moho software looks like. Do you notice the difference? It was yellow before, right? Hello guys. It was yellow before, right?
Sir.
So you can use this to edit your just customization. Alright? Can change to whatever color you want. So that's other edits. You can also edit colors, object, background. Like my background is usually white, right? I can make it to be this color. Do you see that? Normally this part is supposed to be white, isn't it? But I can edit it to whatever I want. Are we following? That's just you customizing your background to suit your needs. Okay, so you can do a lot of customization. You can try out most of that on your own. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's go to draw. So here, if you check, we see that we only have one this thing here. We only have what? Insert text, which is what? If you want to insert, let's create a new file here. Because sometimes one thing about Moho that I've learned, sometimes you see text can scatter your animation, can just make your animation software to crash. So I'm just going to put a text and call it what? Animation class. I can change the font to whatever I want. Okay, I can change the font to whatever I want, and I can still edit it. Okay, but now there's something that Moho also does for us. You see this is a text that you can edit right now. Like you can change the what's it called now? You can change the words, edit the words. But do you know that I can also convert this text to a vector? Now, I need to explain something since I mentioned vector. Vectors are editable objects. And there's a difference between a vector and an image. I'm going to import an image in here to explain this. I would also talk about this later on, but let me just show you an example. This is an image. Okay? This is a vector. A vector is also made up of points. Okay, in fact, no need to do much explanation. Assignment number 1 for today. Research on what vectors are. Research on what vectors are. The one I gave you guys have not submitted to me. Nobody has submitted an assignment to me. I didn't see anybody's assignments. I didn't see anybody's assignments. Okay, so I think Sammy has given them. I think Sammy has given them the answer to some of their questions. So vectors are editable what? Objects. They are scalable objects. Do you see that I can edit this? This I'm editing the shape of this using points. Using what? Using points. Okay? But I cannot edit an image like this. Hello? I cannot edit an image like this. The only thing I can do to this image, right, is to scale it up and down, right? Maybe spoil it like this. And guess what? If I drag this image out like this and preview it, it's going to pixelate. Do you see all these things? Do you see all these things? Do you see how it's no longer clear?
Yes.
Do you see how it's pixelating? Now this is an image version of a character, right? Let's go back to this other character that is a vector. This character is a vector because it's made up of points. Do you see all of these points? Watch, if I zoom into this character's eyes, is it pixelating? It's not.
No.
Right? Because it's a vector, so vectors don't pixelate. But when you convert vectors to images, they pixelate. Somebody said no. Okay, so you see now that they don't. Oh, I think what was it called? They felt like I'm no longer streaming, so they wanted to end the live. But I'm back. Alright, so Sammy, keep on attending to them. So this doesn't pixelate. Vectors don't pixelate. Okay? So that's the difference between vectors and images. Another assignment, do a deep research about the difference between vectors and images. Give me 5 differences between vectors and images. Okay, so we're talking about draw. So we have insert, so we have snap to grid. Most of them are not showing right now. Then we have trace image. Now I'm going to create a new file and then explain what trace image is to you. Please make sure that you are muted so that it doesn't. This class is going to be watched by a lot of people, so make sure you are muted. Okay, so let's go back to draw, and then what did I want to do? Trace image, right? Let's do this. Under import, I'll click on tracing image. Let's say I want to design this character again. Let's say a client gave me this character to design. Let's say a client gave me this character to design and I want to design it. I will need to click on file, go to import, and then click on what? Tracing image. Now let me also try to import that same thing, that same file as a normal image. I want you guys to tell me the difference. What's the difference between both? What's the difference between both? Hello guys, let's be active now. Let's be active. What's the difference between this and this? One is brighter, right? One has what we call opacity.
Okay.
Right? One has what? Opacity. That is you being able to see through it somehow, right? This is brighter. This is a normal image. Why this is a tracing image? If you want to design a character from a reference, you should use what? Tracing image. So now let me try to draw over this. Okay, do you see that with this I can easily use my tool to create the shape? Let me just create a random shape now and add color to it so that you see what I'm talking about. I'm going to explain this process. right? All of this stuff I'm doing right now, I'm going to explain it later on. I know that some of you in this class, you're already familiar with this already. Most of you, all of you in this class are familiar with this already, how to use the add point. But I'm still going to teach it. Or do you think I should skip it?
No.
Okay. So now I'm going to add color. I'll use this shape, this tool to select color here, and then make the outline black and do create shape. Do you see that as I added this color, right? It's still showing the feature of this guy's face.
Yeah.
Guys, can we see that? But guess what? If I do Ctrl C, Ctrl V, move this thing out, do you see that it's normal? Do you now see the difference? This one covers the entire face, but this one here, after we've added color, it's still allowing us to see through it.
Exactly.
That is why when you are designing your character, from references especially, right, you must make sure that you use tracing image. Remember I said in the last class that what I'm going to teach in this class, though some of you have already started using animation, you already started animating, but guess what? You have not what's it called? You are going to see something new that you've not seen before, that I've not taught before. So give me a minute, please. I need to give me a minute. I need to attend to something. How does this human being want me to do this? Please pardon me, please. Okay, I'm back. So this is why most of you have not used this before. You've not used this. So let's continue with draw. So we have create curve layer, create compressible curve layers. Most of these you get to see them. I'll get to explain them later on. Then we have bones. I won't talk about bones until we start rigging. We have animation, right? I won't still talk about all of this because if I just talk about them, like, you'll not understand them. But let me just brief explanation of these ones. So we have allow frame skipping, enable bone dynamics, consolidated. Most of this will be sounding like gibberish to you all. So that's why I want to leave it until we start animating. So we have scripts. There are different scripts here. You can import scripts to Moho. Like right now, if you check if you have your Moho installed, you see that what some of the things I have here, you don't have it on your own Moho software, because these are scripts. They were not made with the normal, like they didn't come with the normal Moho software. I had to install them. Okay. Then we have view. So this one you can use to reset your view. The first reset, zoom in, zooms in, zoom out, zooms out, zoom to selection, right? Then we have flip canvas. Just go home and play with all of this. Then we also have what we call enable grid, especially when you want to draw perfect shapes or stuff. So there are a lot of things here that we are going to show. I'm going to show you practically. Then Windows, I can hide my toolbar, which is this. I can hide it and then bring it back on. Let me remove this grid. So we also have layer composition, which is this, which I barely use. Then we have style. Style is this. Style is what we use to add colors and outlines with effects to our characters, to our objects that we are designing in Moho, to vectors. We have keyframes. We have action, docking. So docking, for example, this guy now is not docked, so I can move him anywhere. Are we together? Our layers are docked. I cannot move them out. Okay. Our timeline too is docked. I cannot move it about. Our style is docked. So if I undock style, you see I can move it anywhere. It has gone out from here. So if I want to dock it back, I'll go to docking and click on what? Styles. For my layer, for my tools, it's too long. That's why I don't dock it. If I dock it, it means that this guy is going to disappear. Let me do it and show you. If I dock tools, guess what? Do you see that my timeline has disappeared? Because my layer is too long. Right? So I'm going to undock my tools. Right? And then make sure that I what's it called? Dock my timeline again. Do you see that it's back? Okay, so that's what we use this for, the docking. So we also have audio recording, character wizard. Character wizard are like, it's like it has a character that Moho has already what's it called, created, that you can even edit. I don't like it at all. I don't like it. When we started, when I was learning animation, they used that character to teach me animation. I hated the character. Hate is a bad word, but I didn't like the character. Hope they won't stop this live because of that word that I use. Anyways, so let me just check some questions. I'm not sure that Sammy answered some of them. How do you make the image a tracing image? Come to class and you will learn it. You're already learning some stuff for free. There are some things I would ask you. There are some things I would answer. There are some things I would not answer except you're in my class. How do you make the image a tracing image? I already showed you guys already. I use CorelDRAW for this. You use CorelDRAW for this, but I bet you cannot get the result that we are getting in Moho. I used CorelDRAW so many years ago when I was learning computer appreciation. I was using CorelDRAW to design characters, but you cannot use it to animate. You cannot use it to get the results that we have here in Moho. So this person has been asking, how do you make the image a tracing image? Come to class. I already showed that, so we already know how. Yeah, that's what I've answered all your questions here on TikTok. Imagine I've gotten 19 followers today from this live. It seems like I'll be coming live on TikTok to maybe teach for free sometimes. Okay, so what were we on? Some people in this class will be angry that I'm giving out. Should we end the TikTok live? Do you think that they are receiving so much value for free?
Yes, sir.
We should end the TikTok live, right?
Yes. They are cheating on us.
They are cheating on you guys, right?
Yes, sir. Don't end. Let them see your good works.
Somebody say, let us see my good work. Somebody say we should end it. So let's vote. Should we end it or should they see our good works?
Let them see your good works.
Okay, so people on TikTok, what you are learning is what people paid to learn. But guess what? You cannot receive free things every day. Today is just your lucky day. Today is just one of your lucky days. You just joined. Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay, sorry. Try to join in earlier. I paid TikTok to make sure that some of you come on here. Imagine I'm giving you value for free and I'm still paying TikTok to make sure that you come to class. That's crazy. Why these other people that are in class, they pay to come, but me, I'm paying for you guys to come to class. That's something else. All right, so we have we are under Windows, right? Actions are what we use in making what we call smart actions, which I would explain later on. Okay, then we have character wizard, we have library, blend morphs, layer setting, switch layer, toggle, secondary windows, and all of that. So now we've talked about most of these, okay? And this, let me go back to Canva, because I wanted to show some things. So here on Canva, we said we have the two panels, which are all of this, and under the two panel we have different type of tools. We have the fill tool, bone tool, layer tool, right? We have the camera tool, workspace tool, timeline tool, and others. Then we also have our style on here, which we have the fill and the strokes. Fill and strokes, if you use CorelDRAW before, you understand this. Alright, we have fill and stroke. We have line width, which is the thickness of your stroke. We also have effects, which are the effects that you can add to your strokes. So these are color palettes. Then after that, we have our layer panel. So under layer panel, we have different types of layers. We have image layer, we have vector layers, we have let's go back to see. Let's not just be like I'm cooking up stuff here. So we have different types of layers. We have vector layers, image layer, image sequence. There's a difference between an image layer and an image sequence. I will show you guys that practically because I need to download an image sequence and use that to show you. So this is what they use for frame by frame animation. Let's say I want to compile series of images into an animation. I'll use image sequence. Then when I play it, Moho plays each of those image per frame, and then it plays out as an animation. Then we have a group layer. A group layer is what we use to combine multiple layers together. Like if I select all of these layers together and then I click on group with selection, right? With this I can be able to move everything at once. Okay, so that's our group. Then we have group with selection, which is what I just did. You can also create a group and call this all, for example, and copy all these guys. Hold shift, copy all of them, and then push it into there. This is now a group layer. Okay, so we have group with selection. We have bone, which is what we use in rigging. We have switch. I will show you that practically. We also have frame by frame, right? We have frame by frame. We have this frame by frame is not something that I'm not sure that I've used it, but let me just try something. Let's try something here. Then I will go to the next frame. Maybe I'm not even sure how this works. I can tell you that I'm not sure it works, so let me leave it. I'm not sure how the frame by frame works because I've not used it. I use vectors and rig them to make animations. Then we have particles, we have notes. So there are times that you can be animating, you just say this is the main character, for example, right? Let's say I've designed a character. Let's say this is a character. I can just put this note here to remind myself of something, right? And then I can still create multiple notes later on. Then we have we have audio. If you want to import audio into your Moho file, that's what you use. Then we have patch. I will show you this practically, because if I just import patch right now, please kindly mute it. Somebody said I should end it. I'm sorry, please. They say we should show them our good works. Okay, so we have patch and then we have text. Please kindly stay muted. They say we want to ask a question so that this doesn't mess up the recording. This class is recorded and there are people that will watch it, not just you guys. Okay, so what I do that my students, even the new students, they get the opportunity to watch all my previously recorded classes. I want to see if I have any questions as we proceed. This is the question that most creators always have. People asking, what is the name of the software? What is the name of the software? What's the name of the software? Learn the skill, not just the name of the software. Don't be so much interested in the name of the software, please. A lot of creators globally, every time that they post work or they are doing TikTok live or any live at all, people just ask, what's the name of the software? Knowing the name of the software doesn't mean that you know the software. And then I've answered that question. Just go through somebody even mentioned it before you even talked about it. Before you asked that question, somebody mentioned it. Alright guys, so we've talked about Windows. So help is basically Moho user manual, Moho tutorials, video tutorials, community forums, technical support, whatever. Alright, so now I'm going to talk about the Moho tools. Start with the basics. So we have draw tools, we have fill tools, bone tool, layer tool, and then we have camera tool, workspace tool. So we have many extra tools that you don't have. So I only talk about the one that you have, that I have. Okay, I'll not talk about the ones you don't have. So let's focus on the draw tools. Now the first tool here is what we call select point tools. Give me a minute. I've been teaching for almost an hour. Let's say exactly an hour already. Okay, and we have like 10 more minutes actually. 10 more minutes to go because we're ending by 11:30. Okay, so we have selection tools, select point tools. Select what? Point tools. So basically we use select point tool to select what? Points, like the name implies. select point tools. So let's say then we have another tool called the add point tools. Mind you, in Moho, there's something that is spectacular about Moho, right? There are certain tools you would never see, you'll not be able to use until you create a point. Like right now, we see that some tools are unhighlighted, like the transform point tool is not showing, the curvature tool is not showing because we don't have points on our screen. We've not created points. So this add point tool is what we use to create points, vectors, right? These are vector points. They are editable. Now, do you see that this other one that was unhighlighted, that wasn't showing before, is now up here? So this is what we call transform point tool. I can use it to move this point. Do we see that? I can use it to manipulate this point. Okay? Now, I have another tool here that wasn't showing clearly before. What is it called? It's called the curvature tool. So we use it to manipulate curves. We use it to do what? To manipulate curves. I can also use it to make this curve like this, to make it sharp. Do you see that? Do you see that? I also use it to bend it or to make it sharp. Alright, that's what we use the curvature tool for. Okay, you can even manually adjust it here using numbers, just scrolling or editing the numbers. If I want to make this point sharp, I'll just click on this, it will be sharp. If I want to make it bent, right, I'll click on. If I want to make it smooth or bent, it will be like this. Alright? Okay, I'll just reset it. Alright, so that's what we use the curvature tool for. Then we have what we call this is the pencil tool. I can use it to draw. Okay, can use it to draw. So that's what the pencil tool is for. Basically, we know that we use pencil to draw, isn't it? Now we have what we call the delete edge tool. Before I get to delete edge tool, we have the draw shape tool. Draw shape tool. So first of all, before we proceed, I will need to click off, turn off auto stroke and auto fill, so that whenever I'm creating my vectors, right, it doesn't come with stroke or fill. Now if I want this circle to be perfect, I will need to hold shift on my keyboard for it to be perfect. If I want it to be perfect, I have to do what? Hold shift. Then if I want it to start from the center, I will hold shift and alt on my keyboard. Then I can use my transform layout tool, transform point tool, which is this, selecting all of the points to move it. Now I use my select point tool, select all of these points, use my transform point tool to move all of them. But do you know I can also manipulate each point the way I want? Do we see that? Now we have what we call the set with delete edge tool. I can use it to delete some edges. Do you see that? Now we have here and here. Okay, let me do this. I'll delete this other part, delete this other part. Do we see what we have here? I've deleted some edges using this tool. Okay, now I'm going to talk about another tool called the fill tool. I'll skip some of this for now. Another tool called the fill tool. Let's say I want to add line strokes to this. I will come on here, click on stroke, and click on what? Create shape. Do you see now that we have some lines? We have what? We have some lines, right? So this is what we call create shape tool. Is used to add what? Used to add stroke and fill. Stroke and what? Fill. So this is a stroke, but we don't have a fill yet because this is not a welded object. I will explain that practically to you. Now, if I weld this object, meaning that all of these points are connected, right? They are interconnected. If I select this guy, I can click on both, which is what? Fill and stroke. Do you now notice that we have a black outline and a brown fill? But these other parts, we only have what? A black outline. Why do we have a black outline? I need somebody here to answer us, or even the people on TikTok. Somebody on Zoom or anybody on TikTok to answer us why we have the difference. Here we have field. Yeah.
It's already selected.
It's already selected. No, that's not the answer. Somebody else should give us the answer. Somebody else should answer. Huh?
The question is, why do we have a black outline, right?
The what?
The question is, why do we have a black outline, right?
No. What's the difference between this one and this one?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go on.
The question is, why do we have a black outline, right?
No. The difference is, I'm asking, the question is, what's the difference between this first object we have here and this second object that we have? What's the difference? Remember, one just has outline and that one has outline and fill.
That's the difference.
That's the difference. I've answered the question. I asked the question with the answer.
That's the difference.
That's actually the difference. So somebody's asking what's the if my class is virtual or physical. So the price is the same for virtual and physical, except you want to come and stay with me at my office and learn directly from me, right? Which Precious is doing. Okay, if you want to stay here and then learn directly, not just from the class, you learn from the class, you also come to me to ask questions, right? My office is in Port Harcourt, but then I don't just accept everybody, and then the price is way higher. But if you are based in Port Harcourt, you can come to the office, you can come to my office and learn when I'm having my classes, right? So I said this first week we are doing it virtually for even the people here in Port Harcourt, because we are talking about the basics here. So there's no need for them to spend transport coming down to the office to learn. And then the truth is, whatever I can teach you virtually is almost the same thing with what I will teach you online, what's it called, physically, right? Is almost the same thing. And then for people that are interested in joining the class started on Monday, right? These are third class. We usually have classes Monday, Wednesdays, and then what's it called, Fridays. And the earlier you join, the better, because if you join this class like 2 weeks later or next week, you have to be watching all the videos that we've done this week and then trying to catch up with the class, which might be very stressful for you. So the earlier you join, the better. So I've answered your question midday. So it's the same price virtually and physically. But if you want to stay with me at my office and learn and be mentored directly by me, it's going to be more expensive, because when you come here, I'm going to share some things with you that I will not share with the regular people in the physical class and the virtual class, because you are paying higher. And then there are some resources I have that I will share with you, like some courses I bought. I'll share it with you. Advanced courses I bought, I'll share it with you. Okay, so that's basically the difference. So we have virtual, physical, right? And then there's the advanced, not just advanced, we like call it advanced mentorship, animation mentorship, which is what Precious is doing, though he has not come to me to ask me questions yet. He's not utilizing what he paid for. Okay, so remember that we are supposed to end by, but before we end, I'm going to take some questions from people here on TikTok and all of that, people that want to. And also for people that are interested, the price is 150, but then I do give people the opportunity to, what's it called, to pay like in installments twice, 70% upfront and then the rest 30% within 2 weeks of joining the class. Alright, so yeah, so let me go back to the class because it's almost 1 minute away, but I'm still going to add a few more minutes to. So that's the difference. I've given you the difference. And then mind you, we can also edit the line width. I can make this line thicker So let me talk about one more tool as we close. We have what we call the line width tool. We use this to edit the thickness of a line. Do you see this? Do we notice that the thickness here and the thickness here is not the same? The thickness here and the thickness here is not the same. I can also do the same thing here. Do we see this? Do we see this? Do we see how we use multiple tools together? How many tools did we use here? I need somebody to answer me. How many tools did we use on this particular object? How many tools? Okay. All right. We used 3, I guess. So we used add point tool 1. We use transform point tool to move these points. We use curvature tool. Then we use the create shape tool. We use line width tool. That's about 5 or thereabouts.